Oh, goodness me. Just when you think a soundtrack can't get any more important, we have a full studio today, and I'm pretty super excited. I can see that jamming away to the music. This is Wise Words for people who are new to it. Hewy's my name. I'm a member of the comms team, and we're just looking to change things up a little bit and give you guys a window into what we do at Wise Employment, right across the organisation and also right across the communities you work in. We're going straight to the top of the tree again today. Social enterprises is a term that I wasn't that familiar with before I started here at Wise, I've got to be honest, but the guests that we've got in today are absolute experts on social enterprise. So without any further ado, we've got other people in the studio, but Jim, I'll come straight to you first because we'll set the scene around social enterprises. Jim Dinuccio? Close?
Dinuccio. Very close. Very good.
I did study Avanti Italian in year 7, but it's gone away from me a little bit. Hey, Jim, it's great to have you here. We've been chatting off air a little bit of background about social enterprises, but can you just give us the high level? What does social enterprises mean generally, and more importantly, what does it mean to Wise?
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. Look, as a very high level, it's just an opportunity for disadvantaged job seekers, specifically from our point of view, people who have mental health backgrounds, be able to have a real job, real pay, and a real environment.
Yeah. Now, you're the GM of social enterprises, but I suppose more specifically, you are the brainchild behind CleanForce. Can you give us a little bit of detail about CleanForce? And if I'm overinflating your role, don't correct me.
Okay, no, I'll take it all. 20 odd years ago. Look, yeah, the story is amazing. 22 odd years ago, somebody came up with an idea of starting, they weren't even called social enterprises back then, they were called business services. I don't know where that came from. But the idea was that an employment service, very similar to Wise, had success in placing somebody within a commercial cleaning business, and by having the right supports, that person was successful. So the idea was, let's start our own business, and that's just keeping it really simple. Yep. So the idea came along. I was fortunate enough to get the gig, and started off with one mop, one bucket, and 15 really eager guys that wanted work. So,
and how big are we today? So what is it, sort of 23 years later?
Well, if we call
you must have started it when you were like 10.
Yeah. It feels like that. Yeah. Look, today, if we count all the social enterprises at Wise Employment, we're talking close to 450 employees, close to $20 million in turnover across. We're set up in 3 states, but we probably work in about 5 of them.
And that probably brings us nicely to Tim, who you were here a while ago, Tim, or you've been here for a while, until about a year ago. People will be familiar with your face if they've been here longer than a couple of years, but then you took a year off.
Yeah.
And now you're back.
I'm back, yeah. Well, temporarily back, but yeah, back as well.
Sort of doing a little bit of special projects, supporting a number of other different functions, including what you're really passionate about, and what I've picked up in the short amount of time we've worked together, is social enterprise.
Yeah, and certainly the social enterprise has been the proudest part of what I've done and where we've gone to. So, yeah, and that's now transitioning to Olga to look after. So that's a really good process, and they'll go from strength to strength with that.
Tell it before we get to Dale, who's one of the CleanForce team members, who's been out and about doing sort of 8 hours a day the last couple of months, started a couple of months ago. Is it stories like Dale's that make you so passionate about the social enterprises? Like, what really sparked your interest? Because you were sort of leading the marketing efforts, but then your role evolved here at Wise Employment to really be a specialist either around M&A or also around the social enterprises side of the business.
I think the social enterprise just shows how we live the mission of what Wise Employment generally is all about. It's giving people a really good chance, and giving people jobs where they would necessarily find it hard to get them elsewhere, and then support them within that job. And so it's just so unusual. I can't tell you how unusual it is for a social enterprise to be as successful as what Jim's done with CleanForce and with ELS, in that they are self-sustaining financially, but they're giving long-term opportunities. So when people come in, they might start on a crew and be supported, but one hopes that as they go on, they can do an independent site, and then we've had people go through to then become team leaders and to develop their career within the business, and that's it's just most social enterprises maybe just look after people for a transition period. Ours is a long-term idea, and that makes us competitive financially in terms of where we supported by our customers, but it also provides a long-term solution to people wanting to work. And so hopefully Dale in the future will go through that process. He's still pretty new to the organisation, and that's exactly the kind of support we want to try and provide.
Well, I'm going to get to you in 1 second, Dale. I know you're a Port Adelaide supporter, and as a Hawthorn supporter, I'm keen to see where we sort of level out. Jim's a Cat supporter, so I won't talk to you about footy, and you're a Brit, so you're probably not into anything except your son playing rugby union. But a question without notice, and he plays professional rugby union, so I shouldn't be dismissive about it. He's pretty important over in WA. Question without notice, we talked before about the turnover, $20 million. It's pretty impressive from a P&L perspective, but have we got an idea of flow-on effects? So like in terms of the economy benefit to these sort of enterprises in finding long-term sustainable employment for people who've been impacted by disability or mental health?
Yeah, we do. We've done some studies on social return on investment. For every $1 that we spend, $6.50 are returned back into the community.
Right.
The other aspect is, continuity for our employees. We've got employees that have been with us 10, 15 years. So it's not a come in, learn the trade and move on. Many, many years ago, people said, we'll train them, we'll teach them, and we'll bring another cohort in. Why would we want to move on some of our best employees once we've trained them? The business has grown. And as Tim was mentioning, it's not just that they remain what they are. They grow within the organisation. They become crew leaders, team leaders. So there's growth for within anybody that comes on board. So,
Dale, it'll bring us to you and your story. Thanks for coming in today. I understand you got a lift.
That's right.
Normally catch public transport, or you?
Normally. Yeah.
Okay. Would have been nice. It was a chilly morning. I think as I came up from Phillip Island, it was about -2 degrees as I came through Hewy, which is a country town just on the outskirts.
Yeah, 1 degree where I woke up.
Oof. All rugged up.
Yeah.
Dale, can you give us a little bit about your backstory? We always say this, but whatever you're comfortable in sharing, if you can maybe just shine a light on your history, both sort of personally and professionally.
Professionally, I've worked for Tasman's and Biviano & Sons butcher shops. And until recently, I had to give that away because I had a brain cyst. And part of the process for the brain cyst, I forgot how to do a lot of things from between 2004 to 2017. But I looked for other things to do, and I did an asset maintenance course, which I think is freely available and with people who are disadvantaged. And Cleanforce came up on the radar, and I looked into the company. There's opportunities if you move interstate and stuff like that, so it was attracted to me, same as being with Tasman and Biviano's. And I feel I've been very welcomed and supported back into the workforce, which has been off for 5 years. And I have also had the opportunity to work with some people who've been with the company for the whole 20 years, which is very encouraging. Yeah. But I feel it's a role I can grow into and happily have a future there.
So can you just run us through how you came in contact with Cleanforce or Wise Employment? So you'd heard about it.
I actually saw Wise Employment in High Street in Northcote, and there's a sign there saying, if you've got a disability, come and have a chat. So I did. I walked in and had a chat with them, and the rest is history. I ended up at Cleanforce. And
so you talked before about the course that you did. Did they point you in the right direction for that course, or had you already done it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. While I had time off because I couldn't work and stuff like that, I did a PT course, cooking course, asset maintenance. I did general education for adults and stuff like that.
Okay.
So when I couldn't work, I could show that I could still learn, which I've demonstrated working with Cleanforce.
Just one more question about the brain surgery. I imagine it would have been, did you lose some of your function? Like, did you have to learn how to do things all over again?
Pretty much, yes.
Right.
And my NDIS worker went through a similar thing, and he's been very supportive too with NDIS. And with the NDIS funding for work, it's been great. Couldn't have done it without him.
And Jim, something I'm learning about Wise Employment, again, I don't know that sort of just employment tells our story enough because we do so much more. Can you touch on, from a Cleanforce perspective, is it things like supporting people in getting either tickets or clothing? Oh, Dale?
Yeah, so I was reading the news out of this week or the month, wherever it comes out, and I did notice we have gym memberships up to $100, which I think is fantastic. And we've been offered 3 counselling sessions if we need that through work.
It's through Carinish.
Which is really good, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So we do.
Couldn't have said it better.
Couldn't have answered it better. That's exactly right.
And
I
that's
think-
of a great benefit, isn't it? Because I think, again, someone who's only new to Wise Employment would think that we just help get people a job, but there's so much more to what we do as an enterprise
It's all
than
the
just
side
get people.
peripherals that go with the job. You know, it's trying to normalise everything. The end of the benefits, the annual leave, the sick leave, the social side that we really take for granted, which gives our employees an opportunity to get together. So, but as Dale has said, you know, it's really just transformed. All our employees come on, and you've got to remember with Cleanforce, 90% of our employees come with no skills at all. They've been out of work for so long, or they just haven't worked. But they come with us, and they're willing to learn. We're willing to teach, and they become very good cleaners. And so.
Tim, when you and I were having a chat the other day, you did talk about the fact that there are social enterprises out there that will sort of dip in and dip out, or will keep the rotation going. Can you talk about? I mean, we touched on it briefly, but can you just again reinforce how important it is, you know, from our perspective, that we keep people in employment and don't just have that sort of rotating approach to the people we bring in and train, and then sort of hope that they'll be okay on their own?
Yeah, I mean, I think we think it's important because it's a different model from a lot of other people do. So this blended workforce, as we call it. So you look at our workforce, half of our employees are what we call open employees. So people who just, you know, want to work in the cleaning business, professional cleaners, and then the other half are disadvantaged. So you wouldn't necessarily know from a crew of people who's disadvantaged or not disadvantaged. It's just workers doing a great job, and that's why we can do the work without really very much government support. So it's less than 1% in terms of our government support for the social enterprises. I know social enterprises are getting 60-70% of their money from the government. Well, you know, that's a charity more than a social enterprise. But we really want to do the right thing for customers, and then, you know, to the customers that Dale goes and helps cleaning with, that they're paying, you know, the normal dollar for getting their cleaning done, and they get a professional job. So, and I think that blended workforce and that way of working is what we believe at Wise. You know, that people with disadvantaged backgrounds should be working in a professional workspace, and that's what we do. So that's where we go. But I mean, but then you do come to Wise, and you know, if you came up to the office at 1:30 in the afternoon, the shifts start at 3, but most people have turned up already because it's just a social place to be.
Yeah.
People have a good time, don't they? They like to be there. So, you know, any Wise people want to come and visit Cleanforce and come and see what it's like. It's such a special place for that.
I've heard Are You OK Day is a good day to be at.
Yeah. Well, and you know, the barbecues.
Barbecue
and
days are good too.
How often are the barbecue days?
Probably every 2 months.
I reckon with your experience, Dale, we might get you on the barbie.
Yeah.
Food handlers,
I
yes.
reckon you'd know the right sort of cuts.
Yeah.
What's your favourite? What's your go-to on a barbie, mate?
On the Scotch fillet, definitely.
What about 4 minutes each side? Is that too much?
No, about that.
On the grill?
Depends how thickly it's cut. I like it thin, so you can do 2 minutes each side. It's still medium.
A bit of mustard?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting hungry. Hey, Dale, we talked a little bit before, and this has been a really great chat, and we will definitely get out to Cleanforce and hopefully get a bit of video coverage.
One thing I like to say about Cleanforce, they've actually been very supportive around my hours and stuff like that, because I'm still recovering post-surgery and I fatigue very quickly. And I had offers from other places, but they're like, oh, I can't work an 8-hour day and stuff like that, so I seriously can't. And Cleanforce has been very good about managing how many hours I do and being very accepting of that.
And what about the purpose it gives you every day? Dale, how have you found the last couple of months in terms of you feeling about yourself? And
yeah, it's getting me off the couch. So unfortunately, I've been diagnosed with diabetes, and it's 2 birds, 1 stone, getting off the couch is 3 days a week, and yeah, hopefully bring his blood sugars down.
Well,
and the gym membership will help too.
Absolutely, it will. Get in there together.
You just have to be a high roller and have that sort of thing.
Been a strong winter. Jim, what's in it for the next 23 years?
More of the same. You know, we want to probably definitely grow the supported side of the business, get in each state and really get our brand out there. And look, you know, well, my little catchphrase, you know, we don't want your charity, just an opportunity to work for you. You know, we don't, I suppose my latest one is, you know, we don't employ to profit, we profit to employ, and we want to employ as many people as we can, especially opportunities for job seekers.
On that note, how good's that?
Brilliant.
I work in comms and couldn't have said it better myself. Tim, Jim, Dale, thanks so much for joining us. Go Hawthorn. It's not just about the employees. If industry partners or employers want to get in contact, Jim, how do they find you?
Absolutely. Give us a call. Have a check out our website. Links are there. Phone numbers are there. Please give us a call.
Just Google Clean Force.
Just Google Clean Force.
It'll all be in the show notes. Thanks, guys. Safe travels home. Enjoy work to Sabo.
Thank you.